Here at the Greensboro Coliseum with Debbie Antonelli, I'm Jeff Fischel for the ACC Digital Network. We're talking about the ACC women's title game between North Carolina and Duke. And Debbie, Tar Heels played perhaps their best half of basketball to get into the title game, but now they might even have to play better against Duke.
Jeff, North Carolina made the adjustments they needed to make in the second half to be able to pull away from Maryland. What a run, and it was a series of two runs. It was a team run, and then it was a run by a player named Latifah Coleman, who had 17 total points, but she scored 15 of the last 23 for North Carolina. So we had to dig deep into the stat sheet to come up with who Latifah Coleman was, because she only played 2 minutes in the last game. She played great, and North Carolina made the plays. They scored in transition. They scored in the interior. They made the plays they needed to make to beat Maryland.
So that's Maryland, but Duke now, again, 29-2 coming in. It gets even tougher for the Tar Heels.
Duke has a dominant defense, and they turn you over. They average 24 points a game off turnovers. That's their game. They rebound at the rim. They're the best three-point shooting team in the nation. They have 4 players with 40% or better from the three-point line. Elizabeth Williams, a dominant low-post center. She creates all that spacing opportunity around the three-point line for Duke.
Now, we can talk X's and O's all we want, but it comes down to, in some sense, Duke and Carolina. We know the crowd here at the Coliseum is going to be going nuts for one of the best rivalries in college sports.
There's no question it's a great rivalry, and this is clearly the class of the ACC when you get to the tournament. Last year there was no blue in the building. This year it's all blue, and Duke and North Carolina are terrific rivals, and they will bring their best games, and I'm looking forward to being in here.
So now Duke is adjusting, right, to playing without Chelsea Gray, one of the great players in the country, and they've pulled out 2 tough wins here in Greensboro without her.
The difference has been Alexis Jones. She's taken over at the point. As a freshman, she ran the wing and ran ahead of the ball on the break. Now she's dominating the ball in the middle of the floor for Duke, and she can make plays. She's not just running plays. Who knew? Chelsea Gray was the point guard. She handled the basketball in transition, did all the decision-making for Duke. Now we're seeing that Alexis Jones is capable.
Okay, we've seen Alexis Jones play fabulously here, but what's a key matchup for Duke and Carolina in the final?
You know, when you get to this environment, Jeff, I always point to point guards. I think points are the important part of how each team's going to manage tempo, control their end of the floor. And for North Carolina, they have a senior. Tiara Ruffin-Pratt is a terrific point guard. She can defend her position. She rebounds from it. She gets them in transition. She can make plays. Alexis Jones, same thing. Make plays in transition. When things break down, she can get you to the rim. That should be an interesting matchup to keep an eye on, but rebounding is always critical when they get together as well.
It has been a great ACC women's tournament, and in the final, it's the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils going for the ACC women's title. For Debbie Antonelli, I'm Jeff Fischel. You're watching the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.